Have you ever seen something from the corner of your eye that wasn't there when you looked again? How about hearing from a friend of a friend that while they were hiking somewhere, they thought they saw something impossible? When they spoke to a ranger, there was always a simple explanation that left you unsatisfied. My name is Chris, and this is my colleague Jack, and we're senior wardens for the Creature Conservation Initiative. We protect the world from the creatures of superstition and myth, but more importantly, protect those same creatures from the world.
Imagine this. You are one of two young couples while hanging around an old TNT munitions site from the World War II, and you are confronted by a 7-foot tall, muscular winged humanoid with glowing red eyes standing on the side of the road that runs and flies after you, squealing like a mouse, and all you can see, all you can focus on is what a shapely ass.
Hello everyone, this is the podcast where we talk about ass, as you've surely noticed in the last few episodes. I hope everyone is doing fine. How are you doing, Jack? What's the ass status of your life?
Very little. No. I'm doing quite well, thank you very much. I'm actually quite excited for today's episode because, well, would you believe it's been somewhere around 2 years since we started the podcast, since we started kind of introducing the CCI to the general public. Yeah. And I'm quite excited to start talking about it. Plus, we have a really, really interesting creature to talk about today.
Absolutely, and emphasis on around 2 years, because we definitely did not miss our anniversary or miss Halloween where this was supposed to come out. So everyone sit back down.
It's close enough.
Everything we do this episode neither early nor late, but precisely when we mean to.
Exactly. Yeah. We're like Gandalf.
So, we do. We are nerds. But, in the 2 years that we've been doing that, there's one creature that you might be slightly confused why we haven't talked about it, because it does, in fact, reside in our logo. And
yes, if eagle-eyed viewers have looked at our logo hard enough, you might see a familiar face.
Exactly. So, in case you never looked at the logo or didn't recognize it, we are talking about Mothman, of course, or Mythman, as we like to call it jokingly here, because we are a fun company.
Yeah, we are very, very fun. We have never silenced anyone for any reason.
Definitely.
We are always laughing and having fun here at the CCI, even during the torture, but the torture never happens, so it's always fun.
Yes, we always have fun here. We are a family. It's great to work for us, so apply now.
Oh god, no. The veneer is slipping.
No. The corporation. Honestly, it's fine mostly, except for the life and death situations and losing your faith, losing your existential grounds for being your own person, all that kind of
finding
nonsense.
out Squonk is real.
Yeah, that was a tough one. But yes, the Mothman. Let's talk about that because honestly, it's time. We have dodged that topic long enough because it's a tough nut to crack, honestly, or it was, because of course we cracked it. Your crack team here at Blink and your Mythid. And
well, I mean, it's one of those this is one of those episodes because just like we do when it comes to the specials, it's one of the times when Chris and I actually investigated together.
Yes.
It doesn't happen very often, but when it does, we get to the bottom of things.
Exactly.
Very much the bottom. You're going to hear a lot about bottom.
We get to the bottom. We form unions or everything that is necessary. We get it done.
Simply, listener, Chris and I, when we work together, we reach rock bottom.
Yeah, yep, can't argue with that. I wish I could. I wish I could, but I can't.
I wish I could every time it comes to the appraisal. But anyway.
Oh, God.
Yeah, but before we kind of get into talking a bit about the Mothman, I think you guys would probably want to know, well, me and Chris thought you guys would probably want to know a little bit more about how kind of the podcast and things have changed things around the CCI.
Yeah. That has been quite an interesting development, actually, because it changed, good and bad things, and I'm not sure we're at a net positive here, but there's still hope. One thing I can tell is that we have a lot more work to do because we get so many reports. That is partly because people are just more open to the idea of weird things existing. They notice things they didn't notice before. They recognize weird happenings as something that might require our attention. But there's also a lot of tinfoil hat weirdos calling in stuff because they suddenly feel justified, and that is a lot of paperwork.
Obviously, because the CCI is a bit more public, I mean, don't get me wrong, we don't have a website, and it's not like you can just phone us up and get hold of our
I'm
call
working
centers.
on it, Jesus. Don't call me out like that.
It was subtle, I was trying to be on your side, but yes, you're taking a while. But, I mean, as in, for the CCI, it's easier to get hold of us. There are more kind of contacts around the world who can essentially send us places, who can give us tips, etc. There are more people kind of trawling things like Reddit who pull up the information.
Yeah.
But, as Chris said, yes, there are more people who are pretty certain that their umbrella is one of those weird Asian ghost things that Chris was talking about a few episodes ago, where they think it's going to try and eat their souls, or something along those lines, or people who are convinced that their girlfriend is some form of succubus.
Which isn't the worst problem to have.
So as a result, it means that we end up with quite a lot more, what's the word, like false positives.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for, false positives. But also there is a massive increase in poaching.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yes.
So, yeah, we found that obviously if you know the area, if you know kind of an area that of one of the creatures we're talking about, there are an increase of people who are going out, trying to catch them, trying to get them for collections, etc. As far as I'm aware, our kind of, shall we say, policing team has done a pretty damn good job of preventing anyone from getting hold of any of these creatures, which is why they haven't appeared in the mainstream. But, I mean, what do you think, Chris? Found it harder in that way?
It is definitely harder. We have to tighten security in a lot of places, but although everyone is doing their best, stuff does end up on the black market, either, selling creatures as pets or I can't think of a better word, but it sounds horrible. Harvesting materials from creatures, just like
there's a lot of old. There's a lot of old medicines.
Exactly.
There's a lot of people who go for old medicines, supplements, etc. And I'm sorry, a unicorn horn is not going to give you a horn.
Yeah, unfortunately. And, just imagine what people do for superstitious beliefs about rhinoceros horns or stuff like that, and then put into the mix that some of that stuff might actually have an effect, and you get some very motivated poachers. And unfortunately, here and there, people who are local to the area, it's impossible not to let anything slip ever. Information does get out here and there, and so incidents happen, and it's been a real problem. I mean, the cat is out of the bag now, so we can't really do much about it, but we will certainly be thinking twice about which creatures we reveal to the public in the future.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't know about you, Chris, but I found it can be quite hard now sometimes to move around. Obviously, prior to the CCI kind of coming out and being known because of this podcast, we tended to find it was easy to take on the guise, shall we say, of local organisations that allowed us to obviously move around a little bit easier because it's hard to recognise who we are in the first place. But now, because some people are looking out for CCI when weird things happen, and as a result, we have to be a lot more clever about how we hide who we are, like how we hide our identities, etc. And the CCI are having to come up with a lot of different resources, but wardens are having to be clever about how they do it as well since the podcast started a couple of years ago.
Definitely. It's a lot harder to get around unseen, and often people might follow us around or just straight up question us about things. And I'm having to personally, I'm sure you know this and do this as well. I just start to use more disguises and everything, and put on a silly voice because people might recognize me from podcasts. So I can't hide my German accent, so instead I pump it up and introduce myself as Herbert von Schneider. I'm here to visit the Queen or something like that. And I don't know, what are some voices that you do, or some identities?
None.
What do you mean? What do you mean none? You?
I just use a different name.
Me too. I'm joking, definitely. Moving on.
Is that why the CCI have sent you on that sensitivity training recently?
There's lots of reasons for that.
I was really wondering why. But okay.
Let's not talk about who said inappropriate things to receptionists or who didn't.
You really do. You really do learn things about the world on this podcast, don't you?
Yeah.
Anyway, before we get into any more hot water, I think we should probably get on to the meat of this episode and start talking a bit about the Mothman.
Absolutely. Good. We can cut that last thing out.
Nope. We certainly can't.
Okay, moving swiftly on. The Mothman. Forget everything you've heard before, especially on this episode. I don't care about stuff you heard about the Mothman, but I suppose most people are familiar with it, and just in case we'll go over the basics. One of the most recognizable things about it is its red eyes. It's probably one of the first things you're going to notice.
Yeah, piercing, very, very bright, kind of like, some people have described them as blood red, some like ruby red. It's
very spooky.
But it's a characteristic, always with the red eyes. If you weren't sure of where the Mothman was kind of based, it's always the majority of the kind of like myths and legends around the Mothman have always been around Point Pleasant in West Virginia, obviously over in the US. Yeah. Earliest kind of sightings of the Mothman was a group of 5 gravediggers who reported seeing a large brown human-like thing.
That sounds worse than it is. It's not like that.
A human-like thing. A human-like thing.
They didn't mean it like that.
And it was flying over and traversing the trees near Clendenin in West Virginia. And the first kind of written mention of the Mothman is in the Point Pleasant Register, which is a local newspaper. Weirdly enough, I'm going to say near Point Pleasant.
Ooh.
Under the headlines, "Couples see man-sized bird, creature, something." Yeah. And it was later picked up by the national press, which then, in 1966, which then obviously blew it up and made it into a massive thing.
Exactly.
But one of the main characteristics of it is its ability to fly.
Yes. It has big heckin' wings, as you're probably aware, kind of like, well, moth wings, obviously, as the name suggests. The interesting thing is that they never visibly flap in any way. So what you see flying around is really the silhouette as it is, and that seems to work by some kind of micro vibrations, very fast, very energetic. Maybe there's some telekinetic energy involved. We're not quite sure about that, but yeah, it doesn't play very well with physics, and you know, we're used to that from a lot of creatures that we talk about. So
Yeah, certainly.
over the years and the decades, a lot of explanations have been. People have been trying to find a lot of explanations, or we try to plant explanations for, you know, secrecy reasons. But there's genuinely some things that you might mistake for horrible creatures, depending on lighting conditions and everything. And for example, in that area around that time, there were some real large owls flying around, which whose eyes might appear red because of reflectivity, and you know, they have large wings. They move silently, as owls are famous to do, and that might contribute to the legend of the Mothman, probably. I think it was a snow owl or something that had a 5-foot wingspan, which is just insanely large.
Yeah, there was actually one that had been shot in that area, which had, as you say, about a 5-foot wingspan. Which, you know, if you think about it, average sized people are around 5'7" upwards. So it's not much smaller than a wingspan, not much smaller than an average human size.
Exactly.
That's insane.
Yes.
There are some people who are obviously under 5 foot, famously. And they, essentially, the wingspan is taller than them.
Yeah. That's gonna be scary if you see that at night and are not sure what it is. This owl was around there, and then you know, the CTI tried to add some birds into the mix because you know, the owl was selling quite well. So other explanations were sandhill cranes or herons, you know, birds that are not usually around there, but they just happen to be off of their normal routes, and
they've flown away from their migration routes and just happen to be in the area.
What a coincidence.
And yeah, you never know.
I mean, honestly, as far as I'm concerned, I find man-sized birds a lot more disturbing than anything I ever heard about the Mothman, but maybe that's just me.
No, it's terrifying.
Yes. You know, you all are not aware how lucky we are that birds of prey are not large enough to eat us for the most part, because nature is horrible. Anyway, I'm rambling again, as
Absolutely
I want to
horrifying.
do. Back to the Mothman. The Mothman is famous for turning up at or before catastrophes, and this has opened up a lot of speculations about his motives, about his kind of precognition that he might have. And you know, people always wonder about, does he just know about it, or does he cause these catastrophes, or is he maybe some kind of time traveler, catastrophe tourist? There are the wildest theories out there, and most of these theories also somehow seem to be connecting him to something or someone known as the Smiling Man. And Jack, I think you have been digging into that particular guy, and maybe you can tell us a little about who that is.
For this episode, we wanted to make sure that we kind of got as much information as possible. I've been looking particularly into the Smiling Man, whose official name appears to be Indrid Cold. Now, those of you who are involved or into kind of like conspiracy theories and myths, etc., you'll know who Indrid Cold is, but essentially he could be an alien, a time traveler, coming from various places. He's just always known with this creepy, very large smile. And whereas Mothman and Indrid Cold, or the Smiling Man, whichever one you want to call him, are very, very strongly linked, the only true link that I could find was that around the same time as one of the major catastrophes at the Silver Bridge in Point Pleasant, where 46 people died when the bridge collapsed in
Ever
1967.
since then, it's been called Point Unpleasant.
God damn it. It was also reported that Indrid Cold also let a man named John Keel know about it and warn him about the collapse of the Silver Bridge. And they just so happened to be kind of operating in the same time and in the same place, but there has been no credible evidence of the Mothman and the Smiling Man actually kind of working together in some kind of really, really weird, messed up superhero, supervillain team-up thing. It's just guilty by association. Let's go with that.
Yeah. They might both be aliens.
They might. It's weird that they both turned up in the same location, but not impossible.
Exactly. Maybe Indrid Cole just happened to grow wings a little bit later. That's my personal theory. They're just the same person.
Maybe. But as I was saying, so yeah, as Chris has said, Mothman has found his way into kind of that zeitgeist because he seems to be like some kind of portent of bad tidings, or maybe he's causing them. And the Silver Bridge collapse in Point Pleasant obviously is a horrible, horrible thing. But then there's also been sightings, usually from UFOologists, shall we say.
That's a nice term.
that respected area of science.
Yeah.
But in Russia, around the same time as the Russian apartment bombings in 1999. So Mothman just appears to just keep appearing wherever there could be death and horror and awful things occurring.
Yeah.
But there is one very important saving grace about Mothman, and it's something that you can all observe, because we have immortalised Mothman in Point Pleasant with festivals and stories and conversation and legends.
Yeah.
But the true kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? The true legacy of Mothman is that there is a wonderful statue of him in Point Pleasant. And upon that statue, we have immortalised his greatest feature.
And what is that?
His ass. I cannot tell you, listeners, how much, when I was doing my research, Mothman's shapely ass kept on coming up. People on the internet, we know they're weird, but my god, are they obsessed with this cryptid's ass. They love it. They think it's the most defining feature about him, and there are definitely some people who want to do things to that ass.
Oh yes. In a way, you can
Which might be why Mothman is hiding, why he's so hard to find.
That would explain a lot. Yeah, in a way, you could probably say that Mothman is the grandfather of all furries.
Oh, what a moniker.
The granddaddy, should I say, maybe.
Granddaddy of all furries. And that's something you can take to your grave.
As we said in the beginning, ever since we started this podcast and have started going more public, we've been getting more reports about all kinds of creatures, and near the top of the list is, of course, the Mothman, because suddenly people seem to have been seeing him again and again, and we as the CCI have never been able to see him out and about. We've never been able to verify his existence, so basically Jack and I were given the mission to basically either verify or put the entire thing to bed. It was our Mythbusters mission, and we got a month to basically track down the Mothman or find some proof that he doesn't exist, if such a thing can be proven.
The CCI really specifically wanted to either know, does he exist? And if so, what can we do to kind of help protect or, work with him? But more specifically, we know that the higher-ups wanted to know, if he seems to be an augur of disaster, could we employ him in some way to discover disasters before they occur,
Exactly.
which obviously incredibly important. Makes our lives a lot easier. Might even reduce the sudden influx of calls that we keep getting.
Exactly. There's a huge potential there in terms of saved lives all around the world. So it was somewhat of a big deal. And, we were pretty excited to go out there and be the first ones to finally catch the legendary Mothman.
Yeah.
Something nobody before us has been able to do. In all the
certainly
ages and ages the CCIS existed in some form or another. I'm not sure I'm allowed to say how long we've been around, but...
no, best keep that quiet, I think.
Probably. So basically we go to North America and we investigate our way around. We talk to people who've been seeing things, and one of the first things you realize is that often it's a certain type of people who report having met the Mothman, and I'm not sure there's a nice word for the type of people that is. They're not the most reliable. Yes. They're not always the most reliable narrators, but on the plus side, they have a lot of other stories most of the time.
Well, the one thing I can say is that they really give us a lot of leads.
That's true. So many leads, and
we are a very thorough duo.
Yeah.
We like to make sure that we check up on everything.
Yeah.
And it's always nice to have a lot of things to check out.
Definitely, it's...
especially in a story like this, which starts out with a location.
That location, of course, being Point Unpleasant. And it turned out to be rather unpleasant for us as well, or at least I felt that way, because a lot of those leads really went nowhere. There was a lot of talk about... UFO sightings and crop circles, the gist, all that kind of stuff, and people being probed in inappropriate places.
Locations and body parts.
Yes. One of them tried to show me. I tried very hard not to look because I didn't want to verify that particular rumor.
Yeah, I knew it was going to happen. That's why I sent you to speak
God
with them.
damn it, I knew it.
Yeah, someone had already warned me.
Pretty much followed whatever lead we could in that regard. Even still, we could tell that most of them were, what's the family-friendly term for bullshit? But whatever that is.
Yeah, whatever that
is. And over time, we realized that most of these people were not worth our time, but we still had to, be thorough with everything. At the end,
again, this was the investigation to end the investigations. So we had to be certain.
Exactly, and as I said, we were very motivated because there would be a lot of prestige attached to this if we could really find the Mothman. Yeah, over time that led us to a lot of weird places, most of which didn't go anywhere, but in the end, we followed our leads and we ended up in an abandoned facility. Kind of hidden somewhere in the woods, very unassuming. There was really barely anything more than the entrance being visible from above.
Only one door in, one door out, and I can tell you, dear listeners, it's not very often I advocate that we arm ourselves, but on this one, when I saw it, I said, I'm not going down there without some kind of weapon.
Absolutely. It was basically, from what we could tell, a creepy bunker in the woods, and it was a real horror film scenario there, so we were going to prepare ourselves. We didn't need the flashbang because we needed some machinery to even get the door open, which, kind of spoiled the surprise for anyone inside. But lucky for us, there was nobody inside. But what we what we soon realized was that this was some kind of military facility, apparently, from the Cold War era. There was a lot of what used to be very high tech at the time, a lot of machinery, security systems.
Yeah, lots of computers on tapes, that kind of thing.
A lot of documents.
Very old style.
Yes.
Oh yeah, a lot of documents.
And of course, we reported everything to the appropriate authorities before reading any of these potentially highly secret documents.
Oh yes, definitely. We didn't take photos or anything.
Exactly. We would never do such a thing, as our lawyers have advised us to say on the podcast. But one thing we did find, and that we can talk about here, after several hours of browsing, not browsing through these things, meetings. Yes, we had a lot of meetings in that bunker. Probably most of the things that could have been found there would have been old and outdated and boring anyway. But we found one very interesting thing there. And it was a plan and partial report about a project that an agency was doing that shall not be named here. But the summary is...
Yep. See, I don't know
I don't
how
see...
I should finish a thought in this.
No. I don't see any of this. Jesus Christ.
Yep, spelling works.
Yep. It sure does, and it's definitely not going to get us in trouble that way. Well, I was trying to say one of these plans for a project was particularly interesting to us because it was about meme theory. And these days, when you talk about memes, you mostly mean... I was gonna say stuff like Scumbag Steve, but that's ancient in meme terms. But you know what memes are.
Okay, I was about to say I can has cheeseburger.
And that's even worse. We should do Rage Comics next. No, but you know the common use of memes has twisted a little bit with internet culture, which itself is quite interesting in terms of meme theory. But basically, I'm not an expert in the field, but the gist is that memes, in terms of ideas, can kind of have similar behaviors in a way, and similar kinds of evolutions and survival depending on the communities that they are used in and how they are used. And you know, some memes live longer than others. There's always the one meme that is that lives for a day, but on the other hand, there's stuff that lasts decades, like you've just lost a game. You're welcome, everyone.
I hate you.
You're welcome. And you know, this is mainly used as a way to talk about this thing, about this way that ideas evolve. But from a military perspective, that idea, of course, has potential for controlling information. I guess not military, but intelligence agencies that may or may not be central.
Essentially, this may not be central. I am certain. Essentially, yeah, we were finding this kind of stuff, and it was pointing towards using a large creature that looks suspiciously like the Mothman to study this kind of thing, and to see how it affects the wider populace.
Exactly. They were trying.
It was pretty evident at this point that
it's all made up.
Well,
sorry.
Yeah, it's all made up. The Mothman is one of the few creatures that you hear about in myth and legend that just doesn't exist.
And what could be a better anniversary episode than that? Us utterly utterly failing to find a creature and justifying it by it not existing.
Yeah, I mean, yes, of course, we did a lot of more investigations and things like that, but it's the simple fact that he only appears in certain very specific kind of ways, and frankly, he can be explained by a lot of different creatures.
Exactly, and there's also the fact that there are a lot of catastrophes where he doesn't show up. So,
exactly.
When I compare things, it's always weird to compare these things, but a bridge collapsing, I could think of a lot of things that happened that would have attracted such a creature, probably, that costs a lot more lives than that.
So when it comes down to it, people, happy Halloween.
Yeah.
Mothman is one of the creatures that isn't real as far as the CCI is concerned.
Yep.
And I'm sure that we'll probably get a lot of people suddenly shouting about us being part of the deep state. But it is the CCI, as far as CCI is concerned, the book on Mothman is closed.
Yes. We are now awaiting our checks in the post from the central idea of Armageddon. Yes, that makes sense.
Armageddon out of here if it ever turns into a problem.
We're professionals.
Professional wardens, not professional talkers. But yes, so essentially that's kind of the whole thing. But that's why we were quite comfortable throwing Mothman into our logo and things. And the person who designed it and drew it did a wonderful job.
Yes.
If you haven't ever really spent any time looking at our logo,
it's so pretty.
Really do. It is so amazing. And if we one day are in a position where we could make merchandise, it looks great on a mug. I know it because Chris has already got one.
Yes, I have it here on my desk, in fact. I also have it on a t-shirt, which I'm not wearing right now, but it works. It works.
It is genuinely wonderful, and I think, one day it would be lovely if that could be something that we can give out to the masses.
Yes.
Or the only kind of solace for those of you who are hoping that we would tell you where the Mothman is and you could go and profess your love to him
and his ass.
Is that at the very least you have pictures of his ass.
And isn't that all we need?
Content yourself with that. Yep, content yourself with that.
All you need is ass, as the saying goes.
Yep, and saying that, Chris, where is somewhere that our listeners, if they want it, could go find more ass?
Well, I've been trying to on this very podcast, but failing that, you could always join our Discord, and that is...
I do feel like I need to put a disclaimer in. Chris is not looking for ass on our Discord.
Not yet. That might be an idea. Maybe I should do that. But what I was trying to say, if you're looking for ass or really any other part of the body, you should join our Discord, because there are a lot of body parts that may or may not be ass in... that may or may not be ass. Jesus Christ. There are various body parts there that may or may not be ass, and you should go there to find them and just meet people and maybe talk for them and not reduce them to just their ass. You ass. But you...
It's a great place for things, Chris. What is it a great place for?
Once you're done.
Before we get cancelled, what is the Discord a great place for?
Discord is a great place for ass, but... Jesus Christ. The Discord
it's
is
a really, really wonderful place for you to go.
For you to talk about episodes that we have done. We have done a lot over the past 2 years, and there's probably a lot for you to talk about. You can request episodes for us to do about creatures that interest you, because between Jack and I, we have seen a lot of things over the years, and chances are that we can tell you about them, even if it's just that they don't exist. But honestly, most of them kind of do in some way or another. And you can just join a little community of people who follow us and have the same interest in that world that may have not been obvious to you before. And while they're doing all
Certainly.
of that, Jack, what else could they be doing?
So you could also be listening to our other episodes and giving likes, subscribes, follows, 5 stars,
What a great idea.
recommendations, whatever you would like to get other people listening to more episodes, because we have quite a backlog at this point.
Yep.
Not backlog. Back catalogue, that's the word I'm looking for, not backlog. We've got a backlog of creatures that we can talk about.
We've got a large
But
ass.
I'm moving on from the ass.
I'm not.
As I've said many times. There's lots and lots of different creatures out there that we've spoken about. I'm sure you'll find something that you would love to learn a bit about, and learn a bit about how we have either ran away from, protected, nearly got eaten by, nearly got crushed by, nearly got murdered by, in some way, shape, form, or fashion.
We love to be bait.
And I'm sure, yep, I love to be bait. Yeah, we get to, there's so many different things that you can learn about and talk about. And it's a wonderful, wonderful little kind of half an hour, 40 minutes of your day where you can just listen to us ramble about these different creatures and learn about the things that you didn't even know really existed. And at the same time, you should be sharing it with your friends. You should be sharing it with your family. Sharing is caring.
Share it with everyone.
Exactly. I mean, either share it because you want other people to hear our wonderful dulcet tones, or share it because you just had to hear Chris whispering creepily in your ear, and as a result, everyone else should have to do it as well. Everyone else should suffer in the same way.
Excuse me? I have a beautiful voice. People love being whispered in the ear by me. That show
I'm
is
sure.
grammatically correct.
You're German. It's not your native language. We can forgive it.
I love it. I can do what I want.
Within reason. But, I mean, apart from that, Chris, unless there's anything else to say, I think that's pretty much it for our Halloween special.
I think that's it. Take care, everyone.
Yeah, thank you very much for listening, everyone. And we will see you next time when we are back to our regular schedule. Goodbye.
Goodbye.